What's up, guys? Welcome to ACROCast, the podcast all about industrial and embedded I/O, brought to you by Vic Myers Associates and Acromag. Today, we're getting into a Q&A session with Bill Whitmer from Acromag, learning about their origin story, and plus, we'll be talking about the applications and technology they've been involved in for over 60 years. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Welcome to ACROCast, Episode 1. I'm so excited to sit down today with Mr. Bill Whitmer to help open the door to Acromag, their company, their products, and their people. At Vic Myers Associates, we've been representing Acromag solutions in the Rocky Mountain Southwest for over 20 years, and it's been a great relationship that's focused on the customers being successful, and along the way, we've helped each other to be successful in doing just that. So thank you so much for joining us today, Bill. I know I'm excited to do this.
Thank you, Ryan. I really appreciate you setting this up. I think it'll be fun.
Yeah, me too. Well, I've known Bill for around 8 years, and so I'm happy we're getting a chance to do this, to sit down and talk about industrial I/O and signal conditioning, and really try to help our customers understand and learn more about what you guys do, what applications and technologies you specialize in, and really just this market that you've been leading the way in for over 6 years. So let's go ahead, let's get started, let's get into it, Bill. Help us first understand, who is Acromag?
Sure, Ryan. In the late 50s, Henry Patton was working as an engineer for Rockwell Collins, and being an innovative guy, he liked to tinker around with electronics in his home lab. And while he was doing that, he designed a solid-state magnetic amplifier. At the time, process control was mainly accomplished with pneumatic pressure systems, but digital electronics was making electrical signaling more reliable and cost-effective. Henry recognized the commercial value of his invention, and so in 1957, he founded Acromag. The company grew, and by 1967, it had outgrown its original facility. So we moved into our current location here in Wixom, Michigan. And over the years, we've expanded this facility 3 times so that we could add more people and increase production. And we've done so and been able to maintain keeping all of our production right here in this facility. We do not farm out any of our production to other companies or anywhere else.
Okay, that's a great overview of the company, the heritage, and the origin story, if you will, for Acromag. It's always cool to hear how technology is created, and it really doesn't surprise me to hear Henry's story, where he was tinkering with some ideas and some technologies and ended up coming up with a great idea. He was able to productize it, commercialize it, and create a great business out of it. So that's a really cool story. And it's also great to hear, and something we should all be proud of, that Acromag's products are all made here in the USA and also supported here in the USA. So that's a great part of history, along with just learning a little bit more about Acromag. So thanks for sharing that. Now, tell us a little bit more about, who is Bill Whitmer? Tell us about your background and how you got to where you're at Acromag.
All right. My degree is in electrical engineering, and over the years I've held several positions, including stationary engineer, field service engineer, product manager. I was a field sales engineer, and about 8 years ago, I came to Acromag as a regional sales manager. And that's, of course, where I got to know you and form friendships with you and all the rest of the people at Vic Myers Associates. About this time last year, I was offered and accepted the position of applications engineer for the process control group. And in that position, I help customers with product selection, troubleshoot problems. I act as a liaison between sales and engineering. And I also help marketing with helping them write their application notes. I also have a bench that I got set up in my lab where I can do some actual product testing and troubleshooting and test out some theories for customers.
Awesome. Very good, Bill. Thanks for letting us into your world a little bit. I know personally, we are at Vic Myers. We're so glad to have you as an applications engineer in this role. Having you as a liaison has been a huge help for us because sometimes we get into a position where we're exploring an application with a customer and we just get stuck, or we might not know the right answer, or we don't want to give the wrong answer. And so we're grateful that we have someone we can count on, someone we can turn to get help with that. And we know that our customers could reach out directly as well. So there's been a great amount of support having you there. It's been a win-win having an apps engineer on the team. So I know we appreciate it, and everybody I've talked to at the company appreciates it. So it's been a great fit. So let's talk a little bit more about the technology now, and really focus on what Acromag specializes in: remote I/O, signal conditioning. Help us understand a little bit more about the background behind the products, and really help us get into the meat and potatoes of what you all do.
Well, our background is I/O and signal conditioning. That's all we're about. We don't make PLCs or SCADA systems or valves or anything like that. The first product from Acromag was Henry's magnetic amplifier, the signal conditioner. The idea of taking a signal, scaling it, and or isolating it for process monitoring and control is the heart of what we do. I'm in the division that is more industrialized. Most of our stuff is DIN rail mounted and sits in an electrical enclosure. We also have a division called the Embedded Solutions Group, and they do embedded PC boards, and but most of their boards are I/O also. And a lot of their work goes into military and aerospace applications. Over the years, we've added remote I/O, first with RS-45, and then later and now over Ethernet. We use different protocols, industrial protocols such as Ethernet IP, Modbus TCP IP, Profinet, Profibus, and Modbus RTU. And we will be adding more protocols with the introduction of our new NT series.
Okay, fantastic. So I'm sure there's more there that we'll unpack over time, but the bottom line is Acromag is dedicated and laser focused to I/O and signal conditioning. And you guys have a catalog of products and solutions, but it's all focused on I/O and signal conditioning. And so when it comes to technology and new products, you guys are really at the forefront of the trends, especially when, like you said, it comes to these protocols. And you're really all about creating industry-leading solutions that'll make life easier for our customers in the long run. So that's great. Now tell us more about when you guys get called in onto the scene of a process problem, talking about I/O, remote I/O, signal conditioning. What applications do customers turn to Acromag for?
Well, the applications for remote I/O are nearly endless. But I think they all kind of boils down to pretty much the same thing. The push towards industrial Internet of Things has been driven by the realization that whatever your process is, it doesn't matter whether you're in power generation, water, wastewater, refining, or any type of manufacturing. You can improve the efficiencies if you monitor your process with more data points. Not only can you reduce cost and downtime, you can use that data to enact similar programs in all of your facilities. And that way, you're not just improving one building or one facility's efficiencies. You can increase the efficiencies across the whole company. And that's exactly where remote I/O comes in. Remote I/O allows you to increase those data points, and you can do it piecemeal. You don't have to put in a large rack of PLC and at a hard I/O at high expense and take up a lot of space. You can add a few temperature measurements or discrete I/O or analog I/O at a time. Collect that data. You can utilize the data and analyze it and see how it is improving your efficiencies. And after it allows you to justify adding more. And that's the gist of it. I think most people are just trying to improve their efficiencies and closely monitor their products.
Okay, cool. So if I heard you right, then what really drives a lot of your applications is this idea that what gets measured gets improved. So in a world where data is everywhere and data is everything, you have customers who have an idea of how they want to solve a problem or measure a part of the process or improve a part of their process, and they need to measure sensors and be as close to the sensors as they can, but they can then take all that data back to their PLC, SCADA, or some sort of edge computing device, most of the times these days on a single Ethernet type cable, for example. And better yet, what I heard you talking about is that this is really can be a scalable process, a modular process type of approach to process improvement, where our customers can chunk out sections of their measurements and incorporate a little at a time or as they see fit, and they can build a business case to do so. They don't have to buy hundreds of channels out of the gate if they don't want to. They can really scale up in a modular way. And something else that you said that was powerful is they can take lessons learned from their applications and use similar techniques and technologies to then replicate it across multiple facilities by basically increasing their ROI after they've been able to improve a process or reduce downtime or reduce cost or any of those variables. So I think that's powerful. Thanks for shedding light on the kind of the broad application range that you guys you cover. It sounds like many of markets, many of industries, manufacturing alike, have really good applications for using remote I/O. So now help us understand, how does somebody get started? How does a customer incorporate remote I/O and signal conditioning into their processes?
It's usually pretty straightforward. We've got well-documented manuals. Most of our products have wiring diagrams on the side labels. We're certified in conformance by the different organizations for protocols of like Ethernet IP, Modbus TCP IP, and Profinet. And so it's going to work with it because we also have GSD files and EDS files to help integrate our products into your systems. And our new NT series has user selectable protocols. So off the bat, you'll be able to have Modbus TCP IP, Ethernet IP, or Profinet. And later on, we're going to add even more protocols to that. But you don't have to know in advance exactly what you're walking into, which is good for a system integrator or if you have multiple protocols in your facility. And also, if you're an OEM, if you want to put your product in the field and you don't know what your end customer is what protocol they're going to be using, you can set that up once you do the installation. Also, with our NT series, we are going to be able to add, they're stackable. So you can have a base unit that may be discrete I/O. And then if you need a few temperature measurement points, you can stack on a temperature section or analog section. And you can mix and match as needed. It just gives you a lot more flexibility. And in addition to all that, you also have people like myself and customer service and inside sales to help answer the questions that any customer may have.
Fantastic. I think that's a really good overview, you did make it sound pretty straightforward, like you said. I think working backwards there, first of all, to incorporate remote I/O and signal conditioning, you're not alone. The customer is not alone. there are people at Acromag that can help you with this. So I think that's a really important thing to reiterate. On top of the people and the support, you guys have great documentation. I know I've used it quite a bit, both in terms of schematics and manuals and application notes, just even the data sheets just for looking up specs. So a lot of really good information exists to help our customers incorporate the products and solutions. And really what I'm hearing from you is that over the years, you've continued to innovate, continued to build products that will help meet a need in the marketplace. And really, with more innovation has come more flexibility, especially with what I heard you talking about with the new NT series. It's really about being able to configure on the fly to a certain degree, being able to have software selectable protocols, a GUI that allows the customer to actually configure their product on the fly, which allows them to kind of mix and match the hardware pretty easily to stack up different flavors of IO, but they're really buying the same part numbers or the same SKUs and then doing all the configurations in software. So I know that is definitely something that's powerful for systems integrators who are kind of the Lego masters of this remote IO world, where they get called in on the scene and have to piece together a solution. And sometimes, like you said, they don't know exactly what they need. So at this point now with the new NT series, they're going to be able to buy a few modules that are a little bit more universal, a little bit more flexible. And then as they build out or they design out their solution with the customer, they'll be able to configure their protocol, their IO, and just a variety of settings they'll be able to dial in to really make the application really straightforward, like you said, to build and to integrate. So that's awesome. It sounds like you guys have come a long ways, and I know I've experienced it. So I'm excited to see and experience how the NT series just will make people's life easier when it comes to picking apart, because sometimes they don't know, and so this will help with that. So thanks for cluing us in on that and helping us how to really get started with remote IO. So now we talked about really how straightforward and how easy it is, but we know there are challenges. We know customers face a variety of challenges. So just summarize a little bit what you think the challenges are from a customer's perspective when it comes to remote IO and signal conditioning.
Well, every customer situation is unique, of course. But I think the biggest challenge that customers have with respect to remote IO and signal conditioning is getting high quality industrial signal conditioning products at a reasonable price. Everybody's budget is shrinking, and at the same time, there's a push to gather this more data. It's like we discussed, the industrial Internet of Things is all about capturing more data. In today's market, you have a lot of very low-cost products that are suitable for lab environments. They're not really ruggedized or industrialized, and you have some really high-end products that are very good but extremely expensive. And that's where we at Acromag fit in. We have high-end industrial products at a reasonable price. Our products are ruggedized for shock and vibe, have wide operating temperature ranges. We have certifications for ATEX, UL, CSA, CUL, and others. And I mentioned earlier that we have an embedded process division, embedded solutions division, and they do a lot of work for military and aerospace. So not only do we have ISO 9001 certification, we have AS9100 certification, which is a quality standard that supersedes ISO. It is for aerospace and military. And in order to keep that, that certification, everything that is built in our facility has to be built to those standards. And so it kind of uniquely qualifies us in the process group because not a lot of process controls companies have that certification. And I think it has us really well suited to service and support our customers in their signal conditioning and remote I/O needs.
Okay, great. So just kind of summarizing and recapping the challenges then, what I heard was really, most of our customers in this world are kind of, they're tasked to do more with less when it comes to this stuff. Sometimes it's people, but sometimes it's budget. So really what the customers face then is coming up with, first of all, something that works. So having a product that's proven, protocols and interfaces that will work, so that having something that works is a challenge to some degree, because there is stuff out there that maybe hasn't been as proven. And so you've got a range then of products, assuming that they are working. You then have a range of products that are really meant for more of a lab environment, where it can't deal with maybe the shock, vibration, extended temperature range, dust, different certifications that some of our customers need. So you've got this lab grade stuff, and then you have some really super high-end data acquisition that can meet the needs technically and meet the environments, but the budget or the cost of those products is far exceeds the budget that our customers have. And what I heard you say is that Acromag fits, nicely, squarely right in the middle there. High value, high end products that can meet the environmental challenges our customers face, making sure obviously the product will work, will interface to their systems, but also that it can be budget friendly and be robust and be something that, especially with what you bring up here with the quality standards, not only ISO 9001, but also AS 9100 quality certifications from the aerospace and aerospace world. So you have a product that meets the budget, has the robustness and the design and quality standards that make it just a great product for our customers to choose, and it's not going to break their budget. So I think you're right. I think Acromag has been and will continue to be aptly suited to service and support your customers with any type of signal conditioning, any type of remote I/O needs. So I think that's a great perspective, just understanding what their challenges are and knowing really you guys have been addressing these for a long time and just continue to innovate and improve on that. So thanks for shedding some light on those challenges, the applications, the technology, Bill, and of course the people. It's been good talking to you about your transition coming over to the apps engineering side, and then a great origin story about who Acromag is and how it all got started. So thanks for sharing all that. We are going to do more episodes of ACROCast, so why don't we give a little preview about our next episode and go ahead and just share a little bit about what we're going to do next.
Okay. Yeah, I think the next podcast is going to be ACROCast, is going to be regarding an application that we've run across where we actually dive in a little bit deeper and discuss what the situation is that a customer had and the solution that we will be able to provide for them and how this can help them out.
Okay, great. So the next episode of ACROCast, look forward to that, will be a deeper dive on an application, really looking at real world challenges that our customers faced and dive into the solution that you guys were able to provide and look at it not just from a sales perspective, but look at it from a technical perspective and really pick apart the advantages of some of the solutions that you guys were able to bring to the table. So I look forward to that. I really look forward to continuing this series. Thanks for joining us for episode 1, Open the Door with Acromag. Thanks for joining us, Bill. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Brian. I appreciate it too.